So the backchat debate commences and a lot of the guys tell the girls to off their wigs, and I just feel like this was a good debate, but at times it just goes off a tangent. Hey guys, it's Marwan. Hopefully you guys are doing well today. So before we get into this debate episode, be sure to subscribe to my channel, click that button, I would massively appreciate it, and definitely follow me on Instagram at Marad_Maradi, the deals are below. Now I didn't expect my content to be so backchat saturated, but this is what happens when you decide to split the episode into 2-3 parts every single week. Ideally I wanted 2 videos, on my channel at the max related to backchat, but they keep splitting it all the time. And we have this particular debate where, do men go for lighter skinned girls? And I feel like this conversation is needed. I feel like it's very important. And they also have touched on colorism before, so quite a few of them already have some knowledge and we've already been used to what they're saying. Now, first and foremost, I don't know what Carnage is saying.
You like who you like. It's not always a colour thing. Do you get what I mean? It might just be you feel like this person does this more for you, this person does that more for you.
I think it's
not
conditioning.
necessarily a colour thing.
Footballers love light-skinned girls. We know that already. The reason why they love light-skinned girls is because they're not too black.
To say that it's an insecurity and that it's coincidence and stuff like this, and people have their preferences, it was a bit shifted to me, because where does the insecurity root from? Get to the root of the tree. Where does the insecurity come from? It comes from conditioning. It comes from Eurocentric, from the beauty. It comes from a white supremacy standard kind of world. That's where it comes from. And the fact that you weren't even getting to that and you were just thinking it's an insecurity, black females are stush, black men are stush. Where does that stushness, if that were to be true, where does that stushness come from? It's like you just see behaviour and you don't see where that behaviour is conditioned to come from.
Which is predominantly black gay men. And you go in there and you just feel the vibe. People are stush, they're standing around and they're watching people. They're not trying to...
Deeper-rooted, I would say upbringing, because in an African community, a lot of us black people are African Caribbeans. Now, we've been brought up to have certain standards. Sexualizing yourself, looking sexy is not something that is discussed in an African or Caribbean household.
Could it come from internalized forms of homophobia rooted in colonialism? There's just so much that it could come from, and the fact that you don't really seek to root out these sources, you just state a behavior, and that's just how people are. Black people are just stush, men are just stush in the club. That's just how it is. It's like people's behaviors come from somewhere. We are conditioned from somewhere. Get to that root of an issue and explain it from there, because what you're doing is you're giving a very simple base perspective, and really and truly that's not how it is. And then we have Mark, and this is what interested me. He was going on a good tangent saying that how we're conditioned to act a certain way, and that is a key word that needs to be reiterated because it's definitely true. But then for you to describe people's hair as nappies was also quite very rude and offensive, number one. Number two, for you to be saying off your wigs, this is how you really are, love yourself, you guys don't love yourself.
Do that. You're not doing that, and that's the problem. The westernized world don't want to see what you're doing. Because I want you, because I'm a boss. This is from Africa, it's gold. It's gold is from Africa. Where's your hair from?
Why are you pumping? Why are you trying to...
Yeah, I'm embracing myself. Remove all your eyelashes. Remove your wig. Remove the makeup.
You want me to remove my hair?
What I'm trying to get at.
You're not in your real hair and so forth, but it's like if we put somebody who off their wig to somebody who aligns to a perfect form of Eurocentric form of beauty, who's likely, factually, who are you more likely to go for? And why would that be the reason? Because of what you're conditioned to. Why don't we address that? Why isn't that addressed as to what you're conditioned to and what you're naturally would go to? But you're so quick off the bat to tell people to off their wig, as if it's easy for someone to do, as if, it's just an easy situation, as if it's not a hard life for somebody to live who, as Nunu says, is the bottom of the barrel in terms of, not in terms of loving yourself, but in terms of how society views people, and how we're conditioned to not like. I feel like Nunu was kind of continuously hitting the bat, and I feel like a lot of people just didn't like that. They wanted to deny it, and that obviously isn't true. People weren't really listening, and allegedly people were saying in the comments, I heard that Mark got a transplant to get his beard done. So that only adds to the level of hypocrisy. How can you sit there with your beard being done, so forth, to align to a form of beauty, to be masculine, to have muscles, to align to a form of beauty that society has placed, regardless of whether you like doing that or not naturally, society puts that to a level of attractiveness. Big body, height, beard and so forth, like, so for you to have all of these and even pay for stuff, and then also in the same breath say people with nappy hair, which is offensive, and say that you should just off your wigs and you don't love yourselves, you're too westernized, you know, and it's like, where's the hypocrisy in that? Everywhere. Because you can't call out people for not loving themselves when you may not love yourself. And then if someone posed that question to you, how would you feel in that situation? You wouldn't like to be put in a place of discomfort. And I feel like telling people to off their wigs and so forth and doing it on demand, it just comes off a bit disrespectful. And I feel like deliverance was more of an issue here. Like, there's a way to talk to people, and, you know, somebody just ask them and pose them questions, as opposed to saying off this, off that, and you don't love yourself, you're too westernized, you're too this. It's like, what do you want people to do? Like, this is what people can be conditioned to certain levels of depths, and it's like you're just simply blaming people, and that really, I feel like, isn't the solution to this issue, nor does it allow and enable a positive discussion of communication. It just comes off oppressive, it comes off rude, it comes off disrespectful, hypocritical, confusing, especially for Carnage to say what Carnage was saying. It's an insecurity. Like, I feel like that's really rude to say to somebody. Like, where does that insecurity come from? Like, someone might say the same thing to you, and the way that you act is an insecurity, and you may not agree to that, and then how would that make you feel? And then, you know, Sinead tries to go against Nudu by saying, oh, you know, I was... Drogba had a girlfriend, a wife, and she was black, and it's like, so you're going to use the token example to suddenly mean that it's okay, and it's fine. That just completely just erodes anything. Like, it's true what Nunu's saying, that in the footballer world, if you date someone that's lighter, you're going to be seen as somebody who's more successful because you'll be more marketable in the media. If you're more marketable in the media, then, you know, people are going to be seeing more, wider access, more public fame, everything, because that is a direct form of media racism. And, you know, for Sinead to say, oh, you know, here's one example, this means there's nothing, and that's how it came across, and it comes across very ignorant. It definitely does. But it was very interesting to see her perspective when she was saying, oh, she was the only black person because she went to all white private school, and, you know, people have different upbringings and what they're conditioned to and how they view things and their perspective and their perceptions. To herself was agreeing with Nunu, and these two were kind of just taking, you know, the episode and the debate for what it should be, talking about how hard it was for them, and they were seeing the cheerleader, it was unfair, it was disrespectful, and, you know, they really suffered quite a bit here and there, and I'm kind of glad they got their views of point out there. I just feel like Mark was a bit confusing. He was on the right track for a minute, but then he kind of just fell off, and I also feel like Carnage was just being, you know, just hypocritical, and I just understand it, and I'm glad that Nunu was just saying what she was saying, and it definitely did rub people's ways. I don't feel like anybody needs to off their wig for anybody on demand. I don't feel like anybody needs to off their wig, period, or to be told that they are too westernized, they don't love themselves. Like, I feel like it comes off oppressive, it's like a dictatorship, and it's just really just irritating and nonsense. That's just how I would feel if I was in that position. Do let me know what you guys think of my particular video. Definitely subscribe, I'd massively appreciate it, and I'll definitely catch you guys soon.